Hey guys, my name's Nelson from Ventra, one of the co-owners. Here I've got Stacey from Peppermint Coast. Now, Stacey's just hopped off the free trial. The whole purpose of this is I just want someone like yourself watching a video like this, just to use Stacey as a case study, a guide. So, okay, Stacey, obviously great to have you on board. I just want you to tell a few of the guys sort of listening or watching this video, what your experience was, just the overall gist of what you thought, the process, how easy it was, ease of use, customers. Tell us.
Awesome. So, what I've found is that Dan and Nelson have been really, really helpful because I'm a hairdresser. I work all hours of the day and I work late into the evening. And I found that they were there when I needed them to be. It's been interesting because it's assisted me through this process to actually refine the way I run my business. And I have staff, I've got a growing team, and it's been easy for them to implement. It's been easy for me to implement, and anything that we've needed to smooth out, the guys have been there to help us do that. Being a hairdressing salon, it's been awesome to have the phone not ringing and interrupting us all the time. It's gone straight through to the platform, and that's been really helpful. So we've been able to stick with our timeline at work. And we're still in the process of refining it, but I've got confidence that that will all work through really well. So I just don't have any real issues. And I think too, as the business grows and we create some balance, work-life balance within the business, I really feel like the AI has got our back as well. And I'm not generally a technically savvy person, but I've actually found this pretty easy to operate. And I know a lot of other salons are implementing that too. So I feel like we're keeping up with trends without it being too confronting as far as practical use. So that's been great.
Of course, beautiful. And Stacey, I really want them to sort of resonate with you because God knows how many salons there are in Australia, right? So there are obviously going to be numerous people in your position. What would you say a few of the I like it, the word game changer sounds a bit tacky, right? But I want to understand like what aspects really benefited you and that you think could benefit other owners in your exact position.
Yeah, look, I think with salons, some salons I have a receptionist there. With the increase of wages and so forth, the outgoings are definitely there. And I think small business or small and medium-sized business, we're always looking to if we're implementing things, we need to make sure that what we're implementing is going to be cost effective. So with the I think on a number of levels, it brings about more efficiency. So it's essentially like bringing on a new employee, but it's just been really, really helpful. So it's quietened down the business. It's efficiently running in the background. And really, anything that has your stylist be working with clients and bringing in money that way, where they're not being interrupted answering the phones constantly, has got to be beneficial to your bottom line. So to me, it's just, yeah, it does definitely refine and smooth out the processes. And having the script there um, to be able to proofread and be aware of what the client's saying to the AI is really helpful. But then just being able to even catch like a net, all the contacts and the numbers and um, you know, often clients ring up and they'll go into a big story. If you aren't standing there listening to all of that, you're just cutting to the chase of booking the appointment and having the AI answer the questions. Um, it's brilliant because it takes a lot of the time away. And then if there is a little hiccup, we can then go on the dashboard, have a look at the name and number, look at the script, and think, okay, we need to give this person a call and just make sure they've got what they need. We can do that as well.
Of course, and to touch on that one thing as well, Stacey, what we've found is obviously we have a unique booking process. We choose not to
Yeah.
integrate into the system for numerous amount of reasons. And I would
Yeah.
say my experience with a lot of salon owners, just like yourself, Stacey, I would say I wouldn't say skeptical, but there are a lot of what ifs and what if this happens, what if that happens, especially with the booking process. One, how do you think yourself and your clientele have found the booking process? And again, like what you mentioned, if you did need to double or triple check or refine with context, you can always head to the dashboard, the pipeline, everything's all, organized for you guys. How
Yeah.
would you say yourself and your clientele have found that process or that part?
Yeah, no, it hasn't really impacted them, to be fair, because we work with Timely. So
Yeah.
the process has really assisted us and it really hasn't interrupted their process because we've got Timely set up where they can pay online. So
Mm.
what's great about the AI is it's directing the calls and the traffic to the website so people are paying the deposit. And as a business or a salon, we were having issues where people weren't showing up. So they might book a large colour appointment that could take 4 to 5 hours. And if they're coming in salon, they haven't been paying deposits, whereas through the website they are. So really, it's going to benefit us in the long term to have all bookings going through the website and having them pay a deposit, because that way you've got at least something that covers if they're a no-show. And yeah, it really hasn't impacted our process or point of sale
100%.
because it isn't, as you say, connected as such. So yeah, that hasn't been a problem.
Okay, perfect. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, Dan and I loved working with you. Now, on to more of because with the whole purpose of these, right, is I want someone who is maybe not skeptical, but just unsure of AI, the process. As everyone knows in the industry, especially in the salon industry, it's really personal, right? So you've
It
got to
is.
actually know their name, everything about them. You got to make them feel welcome. I want to really, paint a picture, not so much of the good or bad, but realistically just the up in the air, as I'm sure you were before the trial. And again, feel free to be transparent as possible. And again, you and I and Dan spoke about it earlier that some people don't agree with AI, right? That's 100%. It's relatively new in 2025.
Yeah,
So we film this
yeah,
September the
yeah,
1st.
yeah.
Relatively new. Some people love it, some people hate it. What would you say your experience as an owner with that, change in time has been, or what have you encountered over the last 14 days?
Um, okay, so yes, some people it's funny. At first I thought it was going to be the older demographic that would be problematic,
Yeah.
and yet I have found that some have been perfectly fine with it and happy to work with it, and then others are quite confronted. So I think it really just depends on the individual.
Mhm.
I have I've spoken to Dan and Nelson about this in as far as I'm letting each of one of my clients know that we have an AI system that we're implementing to create efficiency. And I also say to them, really, when clients are in salon, we don't want them disrupted where we're constantly running away to answer the phone. So selling their client the benefit of why we're implementing it. Yes, there has been a couple of clients that were a little bit rude and uh, not loving it,
Yeah.
but I think the pros have really outweighed the cons. And I think if someone's going to be that activated by something small like that, I've really had to look at, well, are they my actual ideal client in
Yeah.
any case? So I've had to sort of really be clear about that for myself, because if I've got most of my ladies that are 35 to 55 booking online and paying that deposit and sitting at home at night at the end of their day at 11 p.m. booking appointments because that's the only free time they've got, that far outweighs an elderly person who might only come in for a $45 blow dry once in a blue moon. So I've sort of had to just look at, you know, where does it work and where does it not? And it's come out that I think having the AI, particularly when we shut the salon to go on a break, to be able to capture all those calls, because I dread to think how many calls I would have missed out on, where I've been on the phone talking to a client, then somebody else has rung up. They haven't been able to get through on the landline, and then they could have potentially called somebody else anyway. So you've just got to look at those figures as well.
Of course. And
Mm.
I think you've given a really good insight. I think I do think a lot of people that I've spoken to, but the people who would be watching this would
Yeah.
resonate with you a lot. I guess it is just priorities, pros and cons, what outweighs what not. But before we leave you to it, Stacey, I want to ask for any sort of owner who is not skeptical, but who is needs to be nudged over the line, or we could use the word skeptical.
Yeah.
In a brief sort of 2, 3 sentences, I'll put you on the spot here. What would you what would you have what would you say to those guys who are
I would
on?
I
So,
would just take the leap and give it a go. I mean, you really haven't got anything to lose. And you get to choose one way or another which way you want to go.
mhm.
So I would at least give it a go.
Yeah,
I think you can't miss it. I mean, I'm glad that I took the chance because I'm not technically savvy. So I'm glad I did.
beautiful. Well, Stacey, Dan, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with you, and obviously we look forward to working with you for hopefully many blue moons. But before we wrap everything up, did you have anything else you wanted to say to the guys, say to Dan and I, or have we drained every last word out of you?
No, I just think I'm really glad I did it, and I really appreciate the both of you for taking the time and working the endless hours. And because I know that there were some late nights I spoke to Dan, and we did have a couple of little sort of blips that we had to work through, in as far as just the way the AI was working for us. But I think with this type of thing, you've just got to stick at it and just like any relationship, just work through it. I know with any employee that you put on, you're going to have some little
Yeah,
things to smooth out. But I mean, as far as a team and the two of you working with us and my team, it's been really helpful. So I'm really glad that we gave it a go.
beautiful. And Stacey, likewise. I think with all partnerships, right, it's quite literally like an employee. That's what I tell everyone. What we have is quite, it's like training someone. At the
Yeah.
start, it's just, not all sunshine rainbows. There are a few sort of bumps and hurdles that you do need to overcome. But obviously, what I tell everyone, the longer, we, myself and Dan, work with you, the more nuanced situations it's going to go through, the more situations you've obviously engineered and prompted it to respond like. And in 3, 4 years, it's just going to be like I guess you could say, your best employee. That's how Dan and I say it.
I know, I know. No, it's really exciting. So I'm really glad we took the leap and did it.
Beautiful. Well, Stacey, we appreciate your time, and we'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.